Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So, I think it was yesterday I came across an article on The Root about a white police officer in Hastings, Michigan, and his name is Cleon Brown. So he decided to do what a lot of people do here on YouTube. You know, he decided to go onto Ancestry.com and order a pack to find out his ancestry, his racial identity and all that kind of stuff, you know, his family history. And it turns out that this white police officer is 18% black. And he went around and he told his colleagues about this, and I assumed that he thought nothing, there would be no reaction or anything like that. But it turns out that because of that, his co-workers started to taunt him, and they created what has been considered to be a hostile work environment. When I first heard about some of the things that his co-workers did, you know, I hate to admit it, but I started to laugh because, you know, I'm going to give you a couple of examples. And it's just all out wrong, but I found it to be funny. You know, because here you have a guy who's lived his life, you know, enjoying white privilege, you know, enjoying being a fellow white person in this white man's world, not having to face any kind of discrimination or whatever. And all of a sudden, he finds out that he's 18% black, and he begins to be taunted. So somebody said to him, "Hey, Kunta," you know, once they found out that he was 18% black. And you all know of Kunta Kinte from Alex Haley's novel, The Roots, you know, about his ancestry and all that kind of stuff. So he basically, you know, they called this brother, I can't even call him a brother, but this white guy, they called him Kunta Kinte. And then also they had like a Christmas party, and I guess at this office, like, they had stockings for each one of the officers. And they, you know, as you know, and during Christmas, people put gifts in stockings and all that kind of stuff. And they actually put a black Santa Claus in his in his stocking, and it had 18% written on it. I mean, this is funny to me, but it really is a serious matter because it is harassment on the workplace. So they put that in his stocking. Also, he talked about how, you know, people were doing fist pumps to him, like, because he's 18% black, you know, the Black Power salute, and also basically talking about Black Lives Matter and all that kind of stuff. You know, so this guy has faced a lot of problems on the workplace. So he decided to file an employment discrimination suit. He's represented by an attorney. They filed a complaint with the EEOC, and I think he's seeking like $500,000. But as I heard about this story, a couple of things came to mind. And actually, you know, I saw a comment in the comment section to the news article, and they were basically saying that they're sure that this guy probably heard a lot of racist jokes, like as a police officer in that kind of environment. And he probably laughed along with those jokes like it was no big deal. And now that he is the butt end of those jokes, it's not so funny now. And I'm sure that this particular officer, like a lot of officers, you know, they probably still like have all these racially prejudiced type views. So I'm sure he's probably stopped somebody because of their racial identity, or his partners have stopped people because of their racial identity and harassed people. So now it's like this officer gets to feel like a small glimpse of what it's like to be black. And that reminds me of some documentary that was done a while ago, or some study that was done where this guy painted himself black, and, you know, to get the experience of what it's like to be black. And this officer is getting a small taste of that, a very small taste of it. And, you know, it's just a reminder of this whole one-drop rule that continues to exist in this society. I mean, here you have somebody who, for all intents and purposes, appears to be white. He is white, you know, as far as I'm concerned. But because he has 18% black blood, you know, they view that as like some kind of contaminant. So now he's not a pure white person. Now he's subjected to ridicule and mocking and all kinds of taunts, and you could say racial discrimination, simply because he has 18% African American blood in his system. And I just think that that's crazy, man. And it just tells you how sick this society still is. I mean, it tells you how illogical racism is. Because here you have a man who, for all intents and purposes, appears to be 100% white, but because some DNA test says that he has 18% African American in him, all of a sudden he gets treated like he's a stepchild, or he's like, you know, a rejected stepchild, or he's like persona non grata, or he's like the the whipping boy of the office, simply because he's 18% black. And that just speaks volumes about the continued racism in the society. And I know it's like, and it may be a sense of poetic justice. I mean, perhaps, you know, and I don't know, like I'm not aware of this guy having any complaints against him for harassment or, you know, police brutality or anything like that. But this may be poetic justice for all the times when he sat around and laughed along with racist jokes. And I'm sure that he's heard some racist jokes, especially in an office like that. So tell me what you all think. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace.